Hi, I'm Steve Shepperly, one of the pastors here at Grace Community Church. Welcome to this short video series on peace in our personal relationships. We seem to be wired to thrive when our relationships are strong, when we're close and connected to other people. And we also really seem to suffer when conflict or stress or strain and strife come into our personal relationships. So we seem to thrive when our relationships are strong, but it seems so hard to find peace in our personal relationships. And that's been especially true for this last year. It's been a really hard year on relationships during 2020. If you're like me, you're often tempted to think that you'd have better peace in your relationships if your external circumstances would change or would just be a little better. Sometimes I'm tempted to think that I'd have greater peace with my family if our finances were a little more stable. Sometimes I'm tempted to think that I'd have greater peace with my coworkers if work was just a little less stressful. Often we're tempted to think that peace in our relationships will be nurtured if our circumstances were just a little better. But the Bible reminds us that peace in our personal relationships has far more to do, oftentimes, with our personal habits with other people. In 1 Thessalonians 5, this is a book in the New Testament from the Bible, written by the Apostle Paul. He prays in chapter 5 for the Thessalonians, "Now may the God of peace himself sanctify you completely." The Apostle Paul is praying that the Thessalonians would be sanctified, that they would grow to look more and more like God in righteousness and holiness. But in particular, he prays that the God of peace would sanctify them, so that as the Thessalonians are growing to look more righteous and holy like God, they would especially be peaceful. And it's no accident that in the verses just leading up to this prayer, Paul lays out very concrete, very practical ways that the Thessalonians can relate to one another, can live with one another, to experience peace together. So what we're going to do in this video series is each video will look at a different biblical practice for peace in our personal relationships that we hope will help you experience greater peace in your relationships. These are practices and principles that have helped Christians throughout the ages experience greater peace in their relationships. They've been immensely helpful for me in my relationship with my wife, my children, my neighbors, friends, co-workers, to experience greater peace. So I encourage you to click the next video and watch it. We'll look at our first practice for peace in our personal relationships.